From today, people who have Brooklyn origins. Attorney General Tish James is a Brooklyn story. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is a Brooklyn story. Mayor Eric Adams is a Brooklyn story. And Brooklyn Tech is a Brooklyn story. Being the largest STEM high school in the country. Matter of fact, we currently have the largest student population of any high school in the United States at 6,000 students strong.
In Brooklyn to celebrate and recognize the first Black minority leader of the United States.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We have Assemblymember Joanne Simon, Assemblymember Rodney's Bichat Hermelin, Assemblymember Stephanie Zimmerman, Assemblywoman Latrice M. Walker Esquire, Assemblywoman Monique Chandler Waterman, Assemblywoman Nikki Lucas, Congressman Adranas Bayat, Council Member Crystal Hudson, Council Member Lincoln Ressler, Council Member Alexis Villas, Brian Cunningham, Council Member Chio Sen, Councilwoman Darlene Mealy, Councilwoman Ina Vertikov, Congresswoman Mercedes Narcisse, Senator Jessica Scarcella Spanton, Senator Roxanne J. Persalt, Senator Zelnor Myrie, New York State Controller Thomas P. DiNapoli, Assemblymember Robert Carroll, Assemblymember Shimkai Eckenstein, Brooklyn Borough President Antonio Reynoso, New York City Controller Brad Lannon, and Council Member Sandy Nurse. Now, if we get some more names, I'll revisit this. In the meantime, continue with the program.
Thank you, everybody. I have a question for you. Is Brooklyn in the house? You bet Brooklyn's in the house. And it is a great, great day to be here, to be here today to celebrate my fellow Brooklynite, my dear friend, the history-making first African-American House Democratic leader, Hakeem Jeffries. Now, the fact that so many people have filled this beautiful auditorium on a cold Sunday, January afternoon is a testament to the depth of relationships that Hakeem has built over his career in public service, the quality of his character, and the fact that he is beloved in the 8th Congressional District of New York. And I want to recognize everyone here today who made phone calls, knocked on doors, and did all the work to get out the vote for Hakeem. You are democracy in action. Today is Hakeem's day, but it's your day too. And another little note, I'll take a little modest advantage here. I was on the ballot in November. You may not remember that. I'm honored the voters of New York elected to give me another term in office. As of earlier this month, I am the first ever U.S. Senator to represent New York for 5 terms. Now, in the Senate and the House, Hakeem and I just finished the most productive legislative session in decades that benefited all Americans. But Hakeem, and I see Yvette and Nydia here as well, we made sure as a bicameral team from New York to make sure that New York did well. And I'm proud to say that because of the work we have done together, this is the Senator Moynihan used to decry the fact that New York was a donor state. And we sent more money to Washington than we got back from New York. These are the first 2 years that New York got more money back than we sent to Washington, D.C. So, my friends, it's good to have a Senate Majority Leader from New York and a House Minority Leader from New York And it's going to be even better in 2 years when Brooklyn has not only the Senate Majority Leader, but the Speaker of the House as well. First things first, before we get to presidents, you know. Now, let me count the reasons today is a great day. It's a great day for many reasons. I'm going to touch on 4. First, it's a great day for Hakeem, the House Democratic leader. Boy, it feels good to say that. Now, Hakeem, as you all know, was born not far from here in Brooklyn Hospital. He didn't have a silver spoon in his mouth. He was raised in Crown Heights during a volatile era when the neighborhood faced so many changes. His parents came from modest middle-class beginnings, but his home was filled with love and support. Hakeem's parents, Lenita and Marland, who taught Hakeem at an early age the value of giving back to the community. Hakeem went to New York City's public schools. He went to Midwood High School. I'm from Madison. He went to Madison. Midwood's rival. They always beat us in basketball. Always. And that's because of our team. I was on the team. You know what the team's motto was in Madison? We may be small, but we're slow. Now, then Hakeem, despite his humble beginnings, he went on to graduate with honors from one of the great state schools in the country, SUNY Binghamton. Got a master's degree from the prestigious Georgetown University, and then a law degree from NYU, where he graduated magna cum laude. Now, after a stint in the legal world, clerking for a judge in the Southern District of New York and working at a prestigious white shoe law firm, Hakeem, the urge instilled in him to give back to the community that Lenita and Marland installed in him as a child, pulled him into public service. And after a short while, he ran for the assembly. Now, let me tell you a story. When we had a little dinner group that met Tuesday nights when I was in the House, in the Congress, and one of the people there was George Miller from California. And we were adding a new person to our dinner group. And George said to me, "You're going to meet the new person joining our dinner group. Her name is Nancy Pelosi. Before I ever met her, she's going to become the first woman Speaker of the House." It was amazing. And when you met Nancy, you got to know that. Well, when I first met Hakeem, I had very, very similar feelings. I couldn't envision exactly where his career would go, but I knew that he was destined for greatness. And I'm sure many of you have experienced that. Just a short time sitting down with Hakeem, you said to yourself, this guy is really special. He ran for the Assembly and won, ran for Congress and won, and now, just 10 years later, he is now becoming the first African American to lead any party in the Congress. It is a great day for Hakeem Jeffries. It's also a great day for his family. All of us in public life know how our families have to put up with so much. So to his wife, who are they? There you are, Sandra. His mom and dad, Lenita and Marland, who installed such values in him. Is it all right? Can I ask them to stand up and we applaud you, Lenita and Marland? Also here is Uncle Dr. Leonard Jeffries, his aunt, Dr. Rosemary Jeffries. So our families are really part of us and teach us the values that we have. And we all know what they have to put up with those of us in public life. I like to tell the story. When my daughter had her 5th birthday party, it was a cold March night, and a pastor of the local church called me up and he said, "Congressman," I was then Congressman, "you gotta get over here. I have 300 senior citizens lined up outside the church ready to go in and hear our Easter pageant. But the Con Ed man has come, he's locked the door, he said we didn't pay the bills. We did, we have the bills here, get over it. I left my daughter's 5th birthday party, went to the church, argued with the Con Ed man. He let the people in, the 300 seniors saw the Easter pageant, but I missed my daughter's 5th birthday party. She is now 32 and reminds me of it every couple of minutes. Our families also have our backs all the time. So a few years back, I was talking to a gentleman, and I sort of vaguely recognized him, but I didn't know who he was, and my wife is Jack. I said, "What are you doing, dear? I'm talking to the man." She said, "Don't you remember him? He insulted you 15 years ago." It's a great day for the Jeffries family. Congratulations to you. Also, a great day for the residents of this great 8th Congressional District in Brooklyn, New York. Hakeem knows this district. He was literally born in it. It's one of the most diverse districts, not only in New York, but in America. It stretches from some of the wealthiest blocks in New York City to some of the poorest, from Boren Hill and Fort Greene to East New York and Starrett City to Brighton Beach and Seagate. So many different communities, each with people aspiring, many struggling to get into the middle class and want a little help there. Many in the middle class and hope they can stay there. Well, you couldn't have a better representative than Hakeem. Because I've never met someone, he gets along with everybody, he empathizes and understands. I know one of his characteristics, he puts himself in your shoes, the person he's talking to, and tries to understand them and how he can help them. So it's wonderful to have a guy like Hakeem represent such a diverse district. He also is so good to represent this district because he's always been fighting injustice. Of course at the national level, but at the local level too. Recently, Hakeem and I worked to bring federal money to the Broadway Junction subway stop. It's a big, massive stop, but you got to climb up a lot of stairs to get there. But because of Hakeem's work, and I worked with him on this, there is now going to be ADA upgrades and elevators so that it's a great day for this 8th Congressional District because Hakeem he's a great national leader, but he also fits the needs of this district. You know, we were able, Yvette, Lydia, Hakeem and I were able to get a lot of money to New York, as I mentioned, in the last 3 years. But you can be sure, you and all of you who live in this wonderful 8th District, that no one will be better at making sure. You know, the first step is to allocate and legislate for the money, but the next step is to make sure it goes to the right people quickly. There's no one who will be better at doing that than Hakeem Jeffries. So it's a great day for the district. And last but not least, folks, it's a great day for the United States of America. You know, in cold November, the citizens of this district and throughout the country line up at the polling places in quiet dignity. We're standing on line. We want to go home. Maybe put food on the table for the kids. Maybe sit in your favorite chair and watch your favorite TV show. But no, we wait and quiet dignity. And until the last few years, Americans always abided by that decision. Now we have a group of people in Washington who aren't going by that great American credo. But I can tell you, with people like Hakeem in office, and the people on this stage, and the people, elected officials, we're going to fight that tooth and nail. Make sure that anyway, I have faith that we will prevail. We will prevail. And I'll conclude by telling a little story I like to tell about Thomas Jefferson, which talks about this republic. The founding fathers had just finished writing the Constitution, and Jefferson was at a coffee house. They didn't have Starbucks in those days. He was at a coffee house in Philadelphia, and one of the leading matrons of Philadelphia came over to him and said to Dr. Franklin, "What have you gentlemen created in there in that building?" Pointing to the Constitution Hall. He rifled back at her, "Madam, we have created a republic, if you can keep it." Now, what did he mean by that? What were the founding fathers most worried about when they created this democracy? There were lots of problems with the democracy. In fact, back then, you had to be a white, male, Protestant property owner to vote. Who could have voted in this audience? Come on, there must be a few. There's one. Although she doesn't look like a white male property owner. She would have made her way to vote anyway. Good for you. But in any case, there were lots of problems with the Republic. But here are the two the founding fathers, the historians, tell us were most worried about. First, they were worried about whether people would participate in this whole thing, this whole newfangled thing they had created, a democracy. They knew human nature. They knew that we were all busy. We were busy with our families, with our jobs, with the ups and downs of life, the vicissitudes of life that God visits on every one of us. Would people even bother to participate? And second, they worried about who would put themselves forward for public office. They worried that the people who would put themselves forward would do it for money, for power, for ego, and not really represent the community that they were supposed to have voted for. In those days, they called them scoundrels. We still call them that today. Well, look at this beautiful Brooklyn Tech auditorium. By the way, we used to beat Brooklyn Tech in basketball. We didn't beat Woodward, but we beat Brooklyn Tech. Anyway, never, the engineers. Okay. It's a great Brooklyn day, isn't it? Anyway, to finish the story, they called them in those days scoundrels. So, look who's in this auditorium tonight. It's filled. It's a cold January night. There's not an empty seat. With people who participate in our democracy, in our community organizations, in our churches, and houses of worship, and so many different aspects of life. So many aspects of life. I know so many of you here. Oh yes, the people are participating. And who have we put in office? Certainly not a scoundrel. Not even someone who you'd say is just boomsy comme ça. We have put in office one of our very, very best. And so folks, Benjamin Franklin were looking down on this auditorium, he'd smile. This is the democracy they want, and we will keep it if we fight for it, and fight we will. God bless Hakeem. God bless his family. God bless this great district, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Good evening, Brooklyn. I'm what is known as the diversity candidate, not because I'm a woman, but I'm the only person not from Brooklyn. But don't hold that against me. Don't hold that against me when you hear from Majority Leader, big title, Chuck Schumer, and now, I won't say Speaker. Majority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. We have Tish James in the house. Thank you, my great friend Tish James. So, Tom Danapi, I'll kind of hold up the other ends of the state for you. We'll get that out there, but doesn't mean everybody doesn't want to be from Brooklyn. Let's get that out there. It's a very cool place. I've been to so many of your churches and your houses of worship. You have fabulous diners, restaurants, great cocktails. And let me stop before I go too far. Let me reset. I have been in many churches with Hakeem. My God, if he was not in this position, he'd have to be a bishop by now, because he's the way he preaches, you just want to say, wow. But not just in all of how he preaches. This man says the alphabet like nobody else on this earth. I love the energy he brings us, and he's got his great partners, dear friends of mine, Nydia Velasquez, Yvette Clark here on the stage. I want to thank them for what they do fighting for us in Washington. I know Adriano made it over, but he had a great event a couple hours ago. But you really do have an all-star team from here. But I also want to say, you heard the great story of Hakeem and his family from our majority, so I don't think I'm going to repeat the whole bio thing. Are you okay with that? Yeah. Okay, that's all right. We're just trying to roll with the punches here. But when I know that Hakeem Jeffries has ascended to one of the most powerful positions in our nation, which means in the world. Don't you have this sense we're gonna be okay? You have this sense of confidence. Hakeem's got it now. So when you think about what happened January 6th, oh, a dark, dark day in our history. And you start thinking, are we gonna kind of descend and spiral out of control? Are people ever gonna have faith in government again? Are people gonna feel good about their country? But then you say, but we got Hakeem Jeffries as the majority leader. Doesn't that make you feel better? Doesn't it make you want to say, America's going to be okay, we're gonna get through this, and we will rise up once again? I love that sense of optimism that he brings to the job, and the people around him, and the people say, yeah, we're okay. We need the same here in the state of New York. We've been knocked down, we've been hit hard. Not just by COVID, but so many other crises, and loss of jobs, loss of hope. What's happening with the mental health crisis on our streets, and people are homeless, they don't deserve that. We gotta take care of God's children no matter where we find them. We can work together, give them the dignity of a good home. But I can't do all these alone because I need help from Washington to make sure that we have all the services that our people need and deserve. So that's why partnerships matter. The fact that I can just call Hakeem Jeffries and say, Hakeem, you remember how you used to call me and ask for money? Guess what? I'm returning the favor. I need money from the state of New York now to get the big shot job, right? So I think this is going to work out just fine. We're going to be in a good place here, right? So let's feel good about that. So I am so proud to call this man my friend. He has been to so many places with me during my election as well. You were there when I needed you the most. You stood up for me. You made sure people in Brooklyn knew that, yes, someone from Buffalo is okay. Okay, we can be okay with her. Okay? And that really meant a lot to me. And I thank you for that. I thank you for the gift of friendship. I thank you for the gift of service. Yes, you could have gone in different walks of life, but you didn't. You stayed because you care. And I commend your family and your beautiful, lovely wife and so many others who you've touched in that sense of compassion that you have. You don't need to walk in a room like the big shot, like a lot of people in Washington do, like, hey, look at me, look at me. It's that humility. It's that humility, that sense of calm and quiet dignity that attracts people to this kind of leader. This is the kind of leader that our nation is craving in this very moment. And I'm so proud that our friend, our leader, our member of Congress, our majority leader, Hakeem Jeffries, has answered that call. God bless all of you. Thank you for giving me the ability to serve all of you in partnership with Hakeem Jeffries. Thank you, everybody. Congratulations.
Yeah, 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 oh, I do. Yeah, 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 oh, I do. I diale ko si ye otoro efa. Ani mo yo, I do. I diale ko si. Yeah, 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 oh, I do. Yeah, 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 oh, I do. I diale ko si ye otoro efa. Ani wo yo, I do. I diale ko si mano panga maro. Ite maro panga maro. Ite maro panga maro.
in New York City is Hakeem Jeffries. So it is my profound honor today to celebrate the swearing in of my friend and colleague, our great Democratic leader, and Brooklyn's own Hakeem Jeffries, the first black lawmaker to lead a party in Congress. And let me say, 30 years ago, when I first ran and got elected, I never forgot who was there with me. And I know that Hakeem doesn't forget who was there with him 10 years ago. Central Brooklyn and South Brooklyn. Congratulations for having the foresight to send Hakeem Jeffries to the House of Representatives. Today is a milestone for our country and our city, and it is a testament to the progress our nation has made toward a more perfect union. And yes, indeed, there is a lot of work to be done. It has been a long road, and we have been waiting a long time, but with Hakeem's elevation to Democratic leader, we have taken one more giant step toward dismantling the systemic barriers that for too long have kept black and brown people out of power. Now, if you haven't noticed, Leader Jeffries is quite popular. After all, he was voted for speaker 15 times. 15 times. But listen to this. By every single Democrat in the House of Representatives. 15 times. And let's just say it right here and now. In 2 years, he's going to be the Speaker of the House of Representatives. But, we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do. In order for him to become the Speaker of the House, we gotta win here in New York. 4-6. So, we gotta get our act together, get out there, organize voter registration and political participation electoral. We need to get everyone out to vote. Not in Central Brooklyn, we need to do and help Long Island and help in upstate New York. Can we count on you to do it? Hakeem and I have known each other for decades. And one thing I can tell you about Hakeem is that he is all Brooklyn, born and raised in our borough and a product of New York City Public School. Together, we have worked arm in arm to secure NYCHA funding, fortify our communities against the impacts of climate change, and reverse the inhumane conditions in our criminal justice system. Hakeem led the charge in passing historic police reform through the U.S. House, including his proposal to criminalize the chokehold. And we will not rest until it becomes the law of the land. As chairman of the House Democratic Caucus, he worked hand in glove with the Biden administration to enact some of the most transformational legislation of our time. You know, some people and some presidents said, I'm gonna do it, but they didn't do it. The American Rescue Plan, which resulted in 4 million good-paying jobs and nearly double the GDP growth. The Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, $550 billion investment in American roads and bridges, water infrastructure. The Inflation Reduction Act, which cuts prescription drug costs for millions of seniors, makes the wealthy pay their fair share in taxes. And they need to pay more. And constitute the single largest investment in fighting climate change in American history. And don't forget, the price of insulin is now capped at $35 for millions of Americans. Brooklyn, that is what progress looks like with Hakeem Jeffries in the house. At a time of MAGA extremism and existential threats like climate change and the reversal of reproductive rights, Democrats must be united in spirit and in resolve. And there is no better one equipped or more skilled to keep us united and with our eyes on the prize than Hakeem Jeffries. In politics, we talk about leaders who can meet the moment. Today, New Yorkers, it is one of our own. Hakeem, this is your moment. You have earned it. I could not be prouder of you. Imagine, this is his 6th term. So please join me in congratulating the Democratic leader of the U.S. House of Representatives, a united and a fighter, our Democratic leader, Hakeem Jeffries. God bless you all. God bless Hakeem Jeffries.
Madam Mistress of Ceremonies, to my colleague, Congressman Adriano Espaillat, my colleague, Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez, my mentor, my sister, to all of the statewide electeds. I see our Attorney General, that bad sister from Brooklyn. Letitia James is here. Our State Comptroller Thomas DiNapoli is here. And of course, we saw our governor. There is a plethora of our state representatives from both the Assembly and the Senate. I can't run down the line, y'all, but I know you're in the place. To the members of the City Council, to the... Oh, all right, y'all, listen, I got some energy up here, y'all better pipe down. To the members of the New York City Council, all elected and appointed officials, to Reverend Aker and all of the very distinguished clergy here present, to the Jeffries family, Ken and Sandra, you holding it down, sis? You holding it down? And to the beloved community, I am Congresswoman Yvette P. Clarke, and I proudly represent New York's 9th Congressional District in Central and South Brooklyn. And I can't contain myself. To the Honorable Hakeem Jeffries, Member of Congress for the 8th District of New York, Central and South Brooklyn, my brother, have to tell you something. I am just overjoyed. I think that we have all seen what Hakeem Jeffries has been doing in terms of advocating for us, legislating, speaking out against injustice. But I have to tell you, to have a front row seat, to work with him on a daily basis, to plan, to organize, is truly, truly an honor. This brother has been anointed and appointed for this moment. I keep telling him he gotta stop preaching without a license, but what can I tell you? The brother is prolific. But let me just say to the people of the 8th District of New York, you have made a very wise decision. And you'll continue to make that decision. And now the nation knows how sophisticated, how in tune you are with the leadership that you have elected, because we have followed your example. As members of the House of Representatives, to get unanimous Democratic support. I don't know how long it took for us to get there, but Hakeem brought it on. Hakeem brought it on. We stood together in unity on the floor of the House of Representatives. It was electrifying, y'all. I don't know how many of you were watching it on C-SPAN and getting the clips. See, everybody was watching it. My parents were riveted. They were watching it on Watch. But the thing about it is because he is a disciplined man, he is a brilliant man. He is focused on the desires and channeling the power that we all invest in him, and has radiated that throughout the Congress. From shore to shore, flyover countries, they call it the Midwest. People are excited about Hakeem Jeffries' leadership. I think that in this moment, where we witness once again the brutal murder of a black man, there is hope in the work that we've been doing in Congress, led to a large extent by our own Congressman, Hakeem Jeffries, is a member of the Judiciary Committee. That in this moment, I believe God is doing something special. I don't know about you, but I believe that he was elevated at this time for a very special reason. And so I want to say to the people of the 8th District of New York, do not be selfish. I know how my folk can get. He's my congressman. He's supposed to be at this function, that function, the other function. And he will be at the functions when he can be. He has a very able staff. Would y'all give his staff a round of applause? An extraordinary staff. And they will continue to be responsive on the ground every day. We're gonna need for us to hold it together in unity in the same way that the Democrats in the House have held it together in unity, because in 2 years, in 18 months, countdown, this brother will be elevated to the Speaker of the House of Representatives, third in succession to the presidency of the United States. Come on, y'all. so we can make the shift. And let me just say in closing that this is a time in our nation of real transition. Real transition. We, again, in Brooklyn, you heard the roll call, have been blessed with leadership that have essentially had meteoric rises. Again, this is by design. And it takes each and every one of us to do our part. We elected President Barack Obama, dusted off our hands and went and sat down. This is not that moment. This is not that moment. We gotta roll up our sleeves, close the gaps, hold the brakes, and move our people through. And I know that my brother, the Honorable Hakeem Jeffries, is the man who's gonna make that difference for each and every one of us, irrespective of where we're from. He will be directing us on where we'll go. So, Hakeem Jeffries, y'all, hip-hop speaker. And if you don't know, Wakanda forever, y'all.
The power or right to act, speak, or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint. Absence of subjection to foreign domination. The state of not being imprisoned or enslaved. The state of being physically unrestricted and able to move easily. The state of not being subject to or affected by a particular undesirable thing.
To me, freedom means being able to do what you love, enjoy, and have a passion for without having to worry about what others say and think.
To me, freedom means movement and being able to be myself, judgment-free.
To me, freedom means being able to make your own decisions and live your life the way you want to without the worry of others criticizing you.
To me, freedom means the act of being free after trapped for a while mentally or physically.
To me, freedom means I am free to be who I am and express myself. It means I can be confident, love myself, and try new things.
To me, freedom means the ability to go everywhere and anywhere without looking over your shoulder.
Free.
2008, Brother Hakeem and I met at the 1199 building with Barack Obama, who was running for president at the time. I remember after the meeting, moving over and speaking to then Senator Obama. And I said, you know, brother, there's no way I could not be with you during this journey, but as you ascend, remember there are people of color who have never been participated in a national election, national fundraisers, national speech writers, national campaign organizers. We need to make sure that not only we reach these levels, but that those who have been of color but determined to be incompetent but had the skills to do the job. And that was crucial. And so even as I became the mayor, you look at the team. I don't have an afro and a dashiki, but look at who's running this city with me. My first African-American first deputy mayor, second African-American chief of staff, my chief advisor, women of color. Why do I point that out? Because that's what Brother Congressman Jeffries is doing. We see his ascension, but look at how he's using the competency. Sister Jackson is the first chief of staff of women of color on the national level. That is just so powerful. And then when you look at the work that he did, when we came together in Albany and put together the bill that dismantled a database that kept men of color in a database in names to really destroy their future. What he did in Congress around the criminal justice reform. Before people were engaged in this conversation, Hakeem already wrote the book. And so when I hear people talk about that they are woke, Hakeem never went to sleep. That's why this room is more crowded than a Drake concert. People know the work of this brother and what he represents. And now the country know our secret. And it could not be of a more profound time. I think of Jordan, Joshua, Jeremiah, your sons and my son. When we saw Tyree murdered, we thought of our babies. This is why we need him for this moment. I am so proud of Hakeem Jeffries. And to his mom and dad, dads are special, but moms mean it all. Thank you for giving us your son and pouring into him to let him be who he is. Appreciate you, brother. Good luck to you.
To the Caribbean Queen, Yvette Clark, to all of my colleagues who have assembled, to the mayor, to the governor, and to my friend, the controller, Tom DiNapoli. Dr. King once said that hope has a strange way of shining, and it is most evident in difficult times. Our ancestors have taught us that we should keep the hope. Hope in the God of our weary years. Hope in the God of our silent tears. And yes, today, hope manifested in a bright
morning star whose name is Hakeem Jeffries. A man who elevates the relevance of politics to current situations and to the masses, crossing racial and ethnic boundaries with intelligence, moral suasion, and universal focus. A man who gives life to Dr. King's dream. A man who troubles the water like John Lewis. A man who pursues justice like Thurgood Marshall. And a man who speaks eloquence like Barack Obama. Hakeem evokes the curiosity of some who are not from Brooklyn, fascinated by his talents. I call him a poet laureate of politics, who can recite the ABCs of democracy and drop the lines and lyrics of Biggie, and the lyrics of the legends of hip-hop, and unlike the Bronx, because hip-hop started in Brooklyn. Hip-hop will tell the story of struggle. Yes, this is a historic day. Hakeem Jeffries, my brother, the first black African-American ever to lead a party in Congress, whose DNA is directly tied to the blood and sweat and tears of those hands that pick cotton. And now his hands will wield the most powerful tool in Washington, D.C. A man of honor, a man of integrity, a man of humility, a family man, a loving man, a man who knows that he came this far by faith, a man who leads with quiet dignity and an incredible purpose, not someone who sows fear and divisions and attacks the citadel of our democracy, not someone who seeks the spotlight or lies on his resume to trick his voters. Hakeem Jeffries is a man who believes in the beauty and pageantry which is before you today of our diverse people who bring us together in common purpose. Not someone who builds walls or bans books or tries to cancel our history or strips away the rights of women or suppresses the right to vote. Hakeem has earned the respect of his colleagues. You heard them. 212 votes, how many times? Not someone who has to beg, borrow, or steal, or cut deals with individuals. He posed a real and dangerous threat to our democracy. And all that they have is an agenda of grievances. And we know that he's delivered. Hakeem has delivered. You've already heard it. COVID relief, record investment in infrastructure, protecting our environment, gun control laws, criminal justice reform, protection for same-sex marriages, ensuring that women can make their own choices about their own bodies. Where my ladies at? And so much more. From the streets of Albany to the legislature in Albany to the halls of power in Washington, Hakeem has never forgotten where he's come from and who he belongs to. Hakeem, you have done Brooklyn and New York very proud. The ancestors are smiling. Al Van is smiling. Thompson
person is smiling.
And if they were here, they would say, Hawk, just do that. Just do that. This is Brooklyn. So you press on, you lead on, and you organize a deliberate campaign from ocean to ocean with resolute determination. Stand firm in your convictions, and in 2 years, oh yes, in 2 years, 2 years of dysfunction, 2 years of fear-mongering, 2 years of hate, the people will cry out, and the inevitable drumbeat of progress will prevail. And like they say in our church, in good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And winning will take care of itself, Hakeem. And the gavel will pass to your gifted hands to complete the unfinished business of the people. And while you're traveling, Hakeem, don't worry. Tish James got your back in Brooklyn. Don't get it twisted. Don't let anybody drunk with power think that they're gonna come up on my brother. Don't think so. I've got your back. We've got your back. We are not about to turn back. Not about to turn around. Not now. Not ever. You're on the move, Hakeem. You're on the move. Victory is in sight. And victory, my friends, we will win. Give it up to the leader, Hakeem Jeffries.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Hakeem Jeffries, do solemnly swear
I, Hakeem Jeffries, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
on which I am about to enter.
on which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Y'all really make a brother feel welcome when he comes back home. Thankful for all of you, and of course thankful to Lori for presiding over this program in such a phenomenal way, as only you can do. Thankful to the principal, Principal Newman, and the Brooklyn Tech family for welcoming us with open arms to this historic school. Thankful, of course, to all of the program participants for sharing with us, particularly those amazing artists, their time and their talents, blessing us with their wonderful creative abilities. So thankful to all the members of the clergy who are here and the members of the clergy who participated in the program. I got a Jewish blessing, a Muslim blessing, and a Christian blessing. I feel real blessed right now, y'all. I'm going to need it down in Washington. But I'm thankful, of course, to them. I'm thankful to my colleagues in government, my two sisters in the struggle, dynamic champions for our community, Congresswoman Nydia Velasquez and Congresswoman Yvette Clark, my partners in Washington, D.C., and to Congressman Adriano Espaillat, who I serve with in the Congress now and serve with in the legislature, thankful for his tremendous advocacy. Of course, to Leader Schumer and Governor Hochul, thankful that they took time out of their incredibly busy schedules to be with us, and to our Mayor, Eric Adams, and our Attorney General, Tish James, two folks who I started out with in the Congress. We served together in the community, Eric as state senator, and Tish as city council person, myself in the assembly, all representing the same neighborhoods here in Brooklyn. And they've gone on to do tremendous, tremendous things, representing us at the city level and at the state level. Someone said to me, wait, so you were in the assembly at the same time that Eric was in the state senate and Tish was in the council? I said, yeah. They said, and you all were representing the same neighborhoods in Brooklyn? I said, yeah. And then they said, well, who's representing those neighborhoods right now? I said, why do you want to know? They said, because that person may be president one day. But we're all thankful to have started here in Central Brooklyn. And of course, to all of my wonderful colleagues in government, of course, Controller Tom DiNapoli and City Controller Brad Lander, Borough President Reynoso, and all of the distinguished members of the City Council and the Assembly, and the State Senate, I'm so proud to have the opportunity to continue to work with you to do the work of the people as we move forward. I also, of course, want to thank my family, Mom and Dad, Kenny Sandra, Jeremiah and Joshua, my younger brother Hassan with his family, Rashida, Asha, Aliana, and Alayla, who are in Ohio. All of my family and friends, near and far, I thank you for your love, for your support, for undergirding me as I've traveled along this journey. I also want to thank, above all else, all of you, the people of the 8th Congressional District. It's been the professional honor of my life to serve you in the United States Congress. And to look out at this audience, a gorgeous mosaic of the American people, representing diversity in every possible way. That's why it's been so incredible for me to have 5 terms representing you. And during those 5 terms, we've seen a lot, done a lot, been through a whole lot. Thankful that together we were able to rebuild Coney Island Hospital after it was devastated by Superstorm Sandy. And now we've got a state-of-the-art hospital standing in its place to serve the people of South Brooklyn. I'm thankful that we were able to stand up, bring to life the Shirley Chisholm State Park, a brand new park, so that the people of East New York and Brownsville and Canarsie could enjoy the beauty and splendor of Mother Nature without having to go into Manhattan and Central Park. I'm thankful that we were able to save Interfaith Medical Center when it was on the brink of collapsing and bankruptcy. Rescue it, bring it back to life, and now it stands as a wonderful community-based hospital to serve the people of Bedford-Stuyvesant and Crown Heights. I'm thankful that we were able to together partner and make it through the pain and the suffering, the trials and tribulations of the COVID-19 pandemic. Make sure that our community had the resources necessary, partnering with all of my colleagues to make it through that storm. Thankful that we worked hard to try to deliver grant after grant after grant to organizations like the Bedford-Stuyvesant Campaign Against Hunger, or Black Vets for Social Justice, to continue to do the work of laboring in the vineyards of our community. Been together, seen a lot, done a lot, been through a whole lot. And I mention that because no matter what responsibilities I will now have down in Washington, D.C., I want you to understand I will never walk away from you, and I will always have your back. Right here on the ground in the streets of Brooklyn. Now, you know, I'm proud to be from Brooklyn, y'all. Talk about it wherever I go, throughout the country. It's an honor to stand on the shoulders of some legendary figures, all of us standing on those shoulders. Standing on the shoulders of people like Shirley Chisholm, Jackie Robinson, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Ken Thompson, Al Van, Barbara Streisand, and the notorious B.I.G. You never thought that hip-hop would take it this far. Thankful to stand on the shoulders of giants, all of whom Brooklyn gave to the world. Born right across the street in Brooklyn Hospital. Raised in a working class union household by Marlon and Anita Jeffries, a union household in Crown Heights. Grew up in the Cornerstone Baptist Church. Started off in the Cradle Roll Department. Survived the violence of the crack cocaine era and somehow made it to the United States Congress, where it's my honor to now stand before you as the highest ranking Democrat in the United States of House of Representatives. But God, and thanks to all of you. And I take that responsibility seriously as we continue to move forward during some challenging times. Over the last 2 years, all of us, partnering with our colleagues in the Senate, and of course led by President Biden, but all of us, Nydia Velasquez, Yvette Clarke, Adriano Espaillat, members of the congressional delegation, we worked hard to deliver big results for you and for the American people. We passed the American Rescue Plan to save the economy from a deep recession, put shots in arms, money in pockets, and kids back in school. We passed the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act to create millions of good-paying jobs, which we will make sure find their way to Brooklyn. Fix our crumbling bridges, roads, tunnels, our airports, our sewer and water systems, our mass transportation systems, and ensure high-speed internet access in every single community throughout America. We passed gun safety legislation for the first time in 30 years, broke the back of the NRA. More, of course, needs to be done, but it will save lives, and gun trafficking is now a federal crime for the first time in American history. So we can stop the flow of illegal guns into our city. We passed the Chips and Science Act to bring domestic manufacturing jobs back home to the United States of America, as opposed to our jobs moving in the other direction. And are investing in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics in order to ensure that our children, our young people, have the skills to succeed in the 21st century economy. And then, of course, we passed the Inflation Reduction Act to strike a decisive blow against the climate crisis, set our planet on a sustainable trajectory forward. Lower energy costs, stand up a clean energy economy, strengthen the Affordable Care Act, lower health care costs, and drive down the high price of life-saving prescription drugs for millions of Americans. And on all that, Ketanji Brown Jackson is seated on the United States Supreme Court, one of the most productive legislative sessions in American history. But now we're transitioning into a more uncertain time. With all that's happening down in Washington, D.C., uncertain time. You know, I was surprised to see how many people were actually paying attention to the events earlier this month. A lot of folks were watching. I came back home, ran into one of my constituents, said, Jeffries, I've been watching you on TV all week. All 15 votes. Now, you know, I never thought that I would actually hear my name called 3,179 times. I mean, I believe in the Bible verse, be fruitful and multiply, but that was excessive, y'all. Run into my constituent and says, I've been watching you on C-SPAN all week. How long has C-SPAN been around? I said, well, I think it's been around since 1979. They said, wow, that's a long time. I said, yeah, 44 years. And then without missing a beat, said to me, well, season 44 is off to a great start. The American people are watching. But what are they seeing? See, Democrats who are committed to continuing to put people over politics and lean in to make life better for everyday Americans. But on the other side of the aisle, perhaps seeing chaos and dysfunction and extremism. I promise you I won't go through the whole alphabet. What are the American people seeing? We want to move the country forward. Some other folks want to turn back the clock. We're working hard to bring people together. Some other folks are trying to tear us apart. We fight for the people. Some other folks fight for the privileged few. We've got to be wary of folks who go to church. I'm not talking about everybody, I'm not calling names, but folks who go to church and pray on Sunday. And then they come to Washington, D.C. and pray. P-R-E-Y. Pray on the American people the rest of the week. Pray on working families and senior citizens. Pray on the middle class and those who aspire to be part of it. Pray on veterans. Pray on the poor, the sick, and the afflicted. Pray on the least, the lost, and the left behind. Pray on your Social Security. Pray on your Medicare. Pray on your veterans benefits. But let me be clear, we're not going to let them take your Social Security away. We're not going to let them take your Medicare away. We're not going to let them take your veterans benefits away or anything that you worked hard and paid into your entire life. Not now, not ever. Not ever. Challenging times. The American people are watching. What will they see? Well, you've been here for a while, so let me just simply say that when the American people look out at Democrats, we're going to continue to do what the House was intended to do, to be the institution closest to the people. Which is why we wanted to have this day in Brooklyn. The House, an institution that the framers said, unlike the Senate, unlike the presidency, unlike the Supreme Court. And I'm thankful for Judge Loyer. One day we may see him on the United States Supreme Court. But the House, the institution designed to be the closest to all of you, closest to the people. That's the reason why we have 2-year terms. Unlike 4-year terms, like the presidency, or 6 years, like the Senate, life tenure, like the Supreme Court. So as House Democrats, we'll continue to reflect your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations, your fears, your concerns, your anxieties, to reflect the passions of the American people, consistent with what the House is supposed to be. Pushing back against the chaos, the dysfunction, and the extremism that we will see over the next 2 years. But House Democrats, I can promise you, are going to fight for lower costs, fight for better paying jobs, fight for safer communities, fight for affordable housing, fight for police reform, fight to make a difference in our criminal justice system, fight for reproductive freedom, defend democracy, protect the public interest, ensure economic opportunity in every single zip code, and one of these days we are going to pass the John Robert Lewis Voting Rights Act so we can end the era of voter suppression once and for all. We're not going backward. We're going to keep moving forward. We're going to show up. We're going to speak up. We're going to stand up. And together, our country is going to continue our long, necessary, and majestic march toward a more perfect union. God bless you. God bless the 8th Congressional District. And God bless the United States of America.
Certainly thankful for this opportunity to Leader Jeffries, who thought it not robbery to invite me to be able to say some final words. It's in a difficult spot because he has preached a sermon. And I'm thankful for our moderator that reminded me that it is a benediction, because I was ready to take an offering or open the doors of the church after that powerful message. But nonetheless, I have an assignment to do, and that's what we will seek to do, to be able to offer a benedicting prayer. When I think about Hakeem Jeffries, he is not a preacher. He plays one on TV. But he is a superhero. I said he's a superhero. And every superhero has to have their own theme song. And that's his superpower, that we don't know what his theme song is, but that's what allows him to be able to walk smooth, and to walk cool. The same walk that he has with the president is the same walk that he has with convicts. He's able to keep it smooth. That's what allows his hands to move back and forth, because of the power of the song that's in his head. So what I want you to do is to help me bless his song. Will you please stand? And take that same right hand that you had earlier from Pastor Aker, and I want you to point it to Leader Jeffries. And the way we're going to do this is you're going to repeat after me. May the peace of God be in your heart. May the grace of God be in your words. May the love of God be in your hands. May the joy of God be in your soul. And in the song that is in your life. Amen. Amen. Amen.